because I feel like I can really, really get into the music and really play around with it. It allows me a lot more flexibility because I feel like I'm a really rhythmical dancer. I really like to hit as much as I can. Some people get annoyed with that, but because I'm really dancing to the music. However, since being here in Little Rock and in the Southeast, it's mostly an on-one town, and most of the cities around here are on-one cities, so I mostly dance on one these days. And I've actually grown up an appreciation for it. And not that I didn't have an appreciation for it before, but I've always been a smoother type of dancer. I've always liked smooth dancing. So even when I dance on one, I enjoy dancing on one with dancers that have more of a smooth on one style. But I've come to really appreciate like all different ways to dance on one, with the heartbeats and the super excited, basics and everything. I mean, I feel like the music, if you're really, really trying to dance to music, different music calls for different types of dancing. And so there are songs that are very, very melodic that dancing on one really works for. You can really, really access the music like that. But there are songs that are really, really heavy and the drums or something that you just really want to dance on to them to really play around with it. So,
I see. Okay.
I wouldn't say that I'm biased per se. I've come to appreciate them both.
Okay, and you know what? And you're actually the third person who has said something just like that, and I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah, everyone has asked that question said the same exact thing, pretty much. But it's interesting. I've had a couple of occasions where I was out dancing in a club, and I had someone to dance, and only twice has this happened. And the person preferred to dance on two, and rather than following me, who was the lead. She danced on two, and I just thought that was very uncomfortable. Someone has to decide who you dance with, and hey, I don't make the rules, but I enjoy following them. And at the time, I was certainly, and I'm by the way, Leah, I'm learning to dance on two as we speak right now. But
I can make a comment about that too. But go ahead, say it.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting that the person would just kind of force. Well, it was an awkward dance because I couldn't dance on two. And she wouldn't dance on one, so we were I know it was really weird looking. Yeah, so what do you think about that? What do you think should happen in a scenario like that?
Well, I mean, you are right. The leader is the leader of the dance, and that's just how it's structured. However, I really appreciate dancing with a leader who appreciates and, is accommodating to my desire to dance as well. Because for instance, I've danced with leaders that, the song is clearly calling for like an open break in a time section. And you can clearly see me just squirming to be let go. But they're going to force me through a series of turn patterns. I mean, yes, it's his prerogative to choose to do the turn patterns over that section as opposed to doing a time. Maybe he's uncomfortable with time. Maybe he's just hell-bent on his turn patterns. But I will say that I appreciate the lead that is accommodating to me as well.
Okay.
So now in that situation, I mean, I don't know what was in her head. Maybe she doesn't know how to dance on one. Maybe she was trying to follow me and she couldn't, or maybe she was just like, I don't care, I'm just going to dance on two, because that's what I know. But, I do definitely feel like, okay, if you guys are going to dance together, you got to come to some agreement. But I like it when the agreement is balanced. It's like you equally meet. And whatever that means, whatever that meant for your dance, maybe you guys just could do shines for the whole dance because nobody wanted to give up their basics. But I like equal opportunity as much as possible.
Okay, and you know what, that makes sense. That makes sense because I used to look at it as if, well, the ladies have to learn to dance on both because you never know whether the lead is going to be on one or on two, so the ladies have to be prepared to follow both. But you bring up a valid point. The guy should learn both too, and then that makes him more flexible, so that he can say, "Hey, what do you want to do? What do you prefer? It doesn't matter to me. Let's go," and then be more accommodating to the follow. I think that's important. Now that you mention that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now, at some point, you joined Descarga Caribe. Tell me about Descarga Caribe. Tell me what they do. Of course, I kind of know, but I want you to tell the listeners what they do and your involvement with Descarga Caribe.
Okay, well, first I have to preface this with, this was years ago. It feels like years ago. I talk like I'm so old, but This is at least, let's see, I left Chicago in 2006. And I joined the Scottiga at its inception. We'll waffle on this point. I think the team started in June or something, and I may have joined in July or something like that. So, but this was like, what, maybe 2002, I think. And it was a scary thing for me because before that, I had never thought of dancing on any kind of competition type level, any type of level where I had to be serious about it. It was totally for my enjoyment because I tend to be a perfectionist, and I didn't want dancing to be something that now I'm bringing into the perfectionist realm. But when Sekou asked me to join the team, because I was one of the few people that danced on two in Chicago, it was very exciting. I was like, oh, well, it's kind of cool, and then I can keep on dancing and have a reason to, and da-da-da. So, and the Salsera was an amazing experience. I loved being a part of that team. From the highs and the lows, it was just amazing. I mean, because that is basically what exposed me to dancing, period. That's joining the Salsera is what made me a professional dancer. Is what, that's where all of my traveling opportunities came from, even if they were traveling opportunities that I have, that I've gotten on my own, being hired as a soloist or as a partner to another person. Still, no one would have known who I was if I hadn't danced with this Scottiga in the beginning. And Sekou was an amazing instructor, has amazing vision, and I was just lucky. We were all very lucky to be on a team where we all had a similar vision and we all had a similar feel for the music and, a similar thing we wanted to do. So, it was just really an amazing experience. It was great. I mean, I'm really glad that I had the Scottiga Caribe in my life.
And you're sort of, although you live where you live now and outside of Chicago, you're still a member, so to speak, of the Scottiga Caribe, are you not?
Well, I wouldn't really say that. No? I wouldn't say that I'm a member of that team anymore because when I left, I did my last performance with the Scottiga in February at the Mambo Blast, I think it was, in Texas. Like February of that year, 2006, I think it was. And that's the last time that I performed with them.
Oh, that's been some
I've
time.
seen them in various different places because we travel, South events are same events. So, but as far as an official member of the team, I have not been an official member of the team since that last performance in February.
Now, I know that one of your last performances with the Scottiga Caribe included the 2006 ESPN Salsa World Championships. Tell me a little bit about that and how the Scottiga Caribe did.
Oh, my goodness. Now, that was the creme de la creme of experiences. It was just like, it was nerve-wracking and amazing and just a whole new level to reach in terms of getting ready for that performance. We'd never really done tricks before. We had to do tricks to do the performance. Of course, you're always wanting to be as synchronized as possible, but now we were being judged on being exactly the same. It wasn't about anybody's individual performance. It was about the performance of the team as a whole. We had our first super snazzy costumes, where the girls were clearly girls and the guys were clearly guys. We were really known before then for being very asexual in our costumes. Some people might waffle with me on that one. But, and then just being on TV and things like, okay, you have to make sure your facial expressions are always on point because that camera's going to be in your face at some point. And just the nerves of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do it because I'm in front of all these people. But I have to do it now because I'm here in front of all these people. I mean, it was really great. Like, I would love to at some point, if I'm fortunate enough, to compete in that competition or that level of competition on a partner level, like with a couple, with me and someone else, because I enjoyed it and hated it so much that I just got to do it again for the challenge of it. And couple piece is even more challenging because it's just you and that person.